flight performance is the factor that affect the aircraft performance, which include the aircraft weight, atmospheric condition, runway environment, and the fundamental physical law governing the force acting on an aircraft. The importance of flight performance, it contains the operating data for the aircraft, that is the data to take off, climb, range, endurance, descent, and landing. The use of this data in flying operation is mandatory for safe and efficient operation. The primary factors most affected by flight performance are the takeoff and landing distance, rate of climb, shielding, payload, range, speed, maneuverability, stability, and fuel economy. Some of the factors are often directly posed, for example, high speed versus short landing distance, long range versus great payload, and high rate of climb versus fuel economy. It is the preeminence of one or more of these factors that dictates difference between an aircraft and explain the high degree of specialization found in the modern aircraft. Next, for steady flight performance, for the aircraft to remain in steady level flight, equilibrium must be obtained by a lift equal to the aircraft weight and power plant thrust equal to the aircraft drag. Thus, the aircraft drag defines the thrust required to maintain steady level flight. So when the aircraft is in steady level flight, the condition of equilibrium must prevail. The unaccelerated condition of flight is achieved with the aircraft trim for lift equal to weight and the power plant set for a thrust to equal the aircraft drag. So we moving on to the next part. The next part is about mission profile. So mission profile, it shows the condition of an aircraft at the start phase. So the first part is taxi out. This is the condition that an aircraft initial movement. Next, takeoff roll. Takeoff roll is a condition where an aircraft to accelerate. Next, we moving on to the departure phase. Departure phase, which is the condition of an aircraft flaps will extended and the squad will switch off. And next is climb. For climb, the flap of an aircraft will stay retracted and the speed of an aircraft is around 0.79 Mach. Next is the flight will stay in a cruise phase. So for the cruise phase, the condition for an aircraft, the flap is still retracted and the speed is around 0.85 Mach. Next is descent phase. For the descent phase, the condition of an aircraft, the flaps still retracted and the speed for an aircraft is around 0.84 Mach. So we're moving on to the next phase is approach. For approach, the flap will be extended and next for the next phase is about landing roll. So for the landing roll, the condition of flight is touched down to the ground and the squad is switched on. And for the last phase is taxi in, where an aircraft is stopped moving. the next part is about accelerate flight performance. So for this part, we have climb performance, turn performance, takeoff performance, and the last one is landing performance. So for the climb performance, if an aircraft is to move, fly, and perform, it must work upon it. Work is involved for smoothing of the aircraft. Aircraft motion is described by its velocity, and aircraft position is described by its height. Climb performance occurs when an aircraft gain power thrust by increasing altitude. Next is turn performance. So the most general turn is a turn accompanied by a change in height, and all turns angle of the aircraft involve roll, pitch, and yaw. Turning required lift is a greater than the wake, thus coefficient lift is a greater than it will be in a straight and level flight at the same speed, and consequently the drag is also greater. Next, we moving on to the takeoff and landing performance. Takeoff and landing performance is a condition of accelerate and decelerate motion. For instance, during takeoff, an aircraft start at 0 speed and accelerate to takeoff speed to become airborne. During landing, the aircraft touch the down at landing speed and decelerate to 0 speed. And for the conclusion, as transport, aircraft become more capable and more complex. Most operators find themselves having to rely increasingly on computerized flight mission planning system. This system may be on board or used during the planning phase of flight. Moreover, aircraft weight, atmospheric condition, and external environmental factor can significantly affect the aircraft performance.